What's good, Pack Nation? Welcome to Packing with Gary. This is where we discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. All things Wolfpack basketball. Um, this live is to talk about our big situation. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit to get in here, and then we will get it started. But I'm seeing a lot of little rumblings about what we are potentially looking at with the 5-5, our guys who may get another year, how things are playing out with Lubin, if he's gonna potentially stall us out like somebody else we know did, but ultimately still signed with us. So are we gonna look at the guy from Florida? I look, guy from Florida, I'm gonna just call him Micah, because I'm not sure exactly how to say his name just yet. Handlogton. He's gonna be Micah. 7-1. Okay. Look, if you ask me, I love Lubin. He's gonna give us, well, we know what we're gonna get from him, right? He's a workhorse. He's gonna be a huge addition to our team. But at no point did I think that we had a chance at a 7-footer and a lob threat. He's not one that is just moving around. My guy is actually very formidable. Like he was on a championship team. He played legitimate lob threat, catch it off the rim. I mean, what else do you want? Like he's a starting center. Now, if he does make it to Raleigh and you add him in the mix, he's gonna start at our 5. Like nothing against, Evans. Maybe he slides to the 4. But this Micah dude is gonna start for us, guys. Like that's if we were to get him. But let's say we don't. Let's say we get Lubin, and I'm good with that because he's going to start for us also. So in either situation, we're picking up a starter. That's the positive, right? You get another big that's of starter caliber. Can't complain about that. Now, I'm going to come back to that. Let's talk about our guy who was just offered like last month and has committed already. Okay. Guy out of high school, wasted 0 time. Jamil Robinson. 6'10, 6'11, depending on where you look at. Project guy, but his attitude is he wants to improve. And he to me, he speaks like a guy that's like, look, I know I'm not all that just yet, but I can be a big deal. And I think Gainey's message to him was like, look, we can get you there. And that's pretty much all you got needed. Somebody that believed in him. He's coming off an injury. So I think that really hampered his shine in the summer and everything like that. It's all about your buzz. And coming off an injury, it's hard to get that type of buzz to get in the rankings. So I think he did a good job of deciding, look, I'm committing early. I'm gonna go to this school where they work hard. I don't think he's scared of working hard. I think he's a great fit to NC State and what Gainey is trying to do. And so can we think about, like, normally our coaches don't go get bigs like that early, right? May get a 6'9" dude or something like that, but this kid could continue to grow. These kids grow till they're like 19, 20. So maybe he's a 7-footer by the time he gets to school. I don't know. But it's just exciting to see that we're going after bigs early. Like we got plenty of guards. All of them have eligibility to come back if Gainey can keep, the ones that he wants and the depth pieces and everything like that. We're good down there. We got to do is get ourselves some bigs so we can be a whole lot bigger. And I like this kid. I mean, he's got nice touch, left-handed. He's got a little mid-range jump hook type game. Definitely can dunk on you, of course. Small, so once he gets in the weight room, that's going to change everything. I mean, Pac, I'm being honest. Like when I saw that come through today, it was completely surprising. I saw the offer before, but I did not expect him to commit so soon. Like when I saw the offer, I was like, all right, well, 16, cool. But that was quick. I'm trying to see how long it's been. It's probably just been a couple weeks since he was offered. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it right now, but when I find it, I'll get back to you all. So let me get caught up here with you all. Eddie Thomas, how you doing, man? Really like the opportunity to land a 7'1" Florida center. Robinson sounds good, but we were the only major program after him. Is that concerning? It's not. It's not. So, like, you might just got in here. The guy's coming off an injury. I think we might be you know, the first major to offer him, not the only one. He's going to get more offers. When you see him, and you can't teach size like that, and he's not one of these guys that can't walk and chew gum at the same time. He's going to be getting more offers. We were just first, right? And I think he just decided, let me go ahead on and get with Gainey. The fact that he had the confidence in me was enough for him. Like you could tell by the interview questions that from Pac Pride, they covered his commitment. And he's not one of those kids. It's like, yeah, I immediately just want to get to the next level. He understands that it's going to take some work, but ultimately he'll get to the next level. He's going to be developed, and he thinks, Gainey can do that for him. So that's exciting to me. David Johnson, bit of a project, develop and roll with it. Absolutely. Listen, if we can get a bunch of these guys, I'd much rather have a project out of high school than a transfer portal project. Okay. That's just my two. Like it's unless you are, 5 high 4-star kid, you're a project. You probably, aren't strong enough out of high school. The game's a little fast for you when you get to college. You may not have the basketball IQ. So, yeah, it's cool. If you're not a McDonald's All American and looking to come in and lead a team to a national championship, then you're a project, and I'm cool with you developing. Hopefully, we can keep them long enough that we actually see what happened. I didn't know he was injured twice. I thought it was just one time, David. So it's good to know. Hopefully, a good strength conditioning program and switching up his diet or something like that to help him out. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. 2 times is interesting. That definitely will cause some concern and hesitation for programs. I'm speaking language tonight. Oh, I guess I'm speaking your language tonight, David. Yeah. But yeah, before we continue to get into it, I see some of you are still getting in here. I do want to go ahead and shout out some of our top subscribers here. Shout out to 6 feet 5 in Florida, Chester Logins 9490, Bob Funk, 6749, Chris Corey, 2654, and Benjamin Orman, 1766. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are, y'all my guys. Y'all really look out. I appreciate that. If you haven't, subscribe to the Den. We got some things in there. We got our full Casey Morcell interview. We're gonna have some other interviews coming up soon. That can't tell you exactly who yet, but when you see it drop, you want to make sure you're able to get all of it because we're not going to hold anything back. So let me ask y'all this. Now the few of you ain't here. If we can only have one, you want Micah, the Florida center, or do you want Lubin? Right? You want to know what you're getting, or you want to go after this hype and the guy that's been on a national championship team? Like, what we want, Pac? I want to know your thoughts. James Johnson. Hey, man. It's good to see you. Let's get with some Wolfpack banter. Matter, let's get that new big man on campus. Hey, look, that's what I'm asking. What are we doing here, guys? Are we really just looking to go get the new 7-foot center because we know it's an option? Or do we stick with our guy Lubin? I'm gonna tell you while y'all chime in, for me, is Lubin all day. Okay. I know Micah, the guy from Florida, it's like something shiny, right? Like we don't get 7-foot, centers like that can actually play. So it's like, ooh, I want that. But Lubin has done so much for us in so little time. I'm like a second year with him under a coach like Gainey. Gets me kind of excited. Just think what he was doing with Wade. They had no idea what was going on, right? You get a coach that knows and can put you in better positions, have you playing in a better position, not playing out there undersized by yourself the whole time. Like, that might open the floor up for him. You just never know. And then this Micah guy, he's to me not one that you're going to post up and throw the ball to. Yeah, he's a rim runner. And he can catch it off the rim off the rebound. But I've seen Lubin do that too. No, he's not as tall, but he does all the same stuff, probably at a higher clip. So, I'm just like, Lubin is my pick. Okay? Really want to hear where y'all at, but y'all already know Gary is picking Lubin. Matter of fact, Lubin, if you see this, please go ahead and lock this up. Come on back. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. And then we can, we can put all this stuff behind us. I just need you not to drag this out. If you're not going to come, cool, let us know early. Just don't pull a Paul McNeil and have us missing on people because you're deciding to go elsewhere. Just have that much respect for us, please. All right, let me see what y'all got here. David Johnson says Lubin. Cool. Joshua Smith says, I want height. I hear you, but is that all you want? Do you just want a tall guy? Because if we're going to have to go find this money from somewhere, do we want just height or do we want somebody that can really be productive on the court? But I hear you. You want height. James Johnson says, I want the Florida center. Like you said, he brings that natty experience. You are correct. He's more experienced when it comes to the tournament and winning. So I understand that part of it. David Johnson says Hall, Evans are our shot blockers. So it looks like David is saying, you don't necessarily need to go after shot blocking because you got that covered. Right? understand where you at, David. Said exactly. Joshua says Lubin is great, but also undersized. He is. He is. Bob Font, welcome to the chat. I just shouted you out a little bit ago. Hopefully you were here for it. James Johnson says, I love Lubin, but I think he's going to be with Will the Snake Wade. Ooh, he said Lubin and PM2 were the only ones that could play for him at any time, anywhere. So look. Okay. Right now, I think we won't have really anything bad to say about Lubin right now. Right? Would y'all agree? The guy left Carolina, came to our school. I mean, immediately left them, came to our school, played at a high level. Okay. He played the way an NC State player would play, hard. You never questioned his effort. If he went to LSU, how would you feel about him then? Right? Even Darian Williams didn't follow that guy to LSU. So for me, I'm like, he doesn't come across to me as that type of guy. Like, I know it's supposed to be down to us and LSU. And if it's about the money, then okay, I get it. If it's about the money, I get it. He's like, okay, maybe he's considering he's not going to play that much professional basketball or make that much money playing professional basketball. So he's like, I got to get as much as I can right now. And that's life changing if he invests it well or, whatever. Even then, I feel like he's got to stand for more than that. Just that he knows how this dude did us and how he did them. Quitting on him in the season. Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. We can get on that another time. I'm just like, that is tough. Bob Font says, I love both Robinson and the 7'1" dude. Both a lot. All right, Bob. So, Robinson, cool. Yeah, I think down the line he's gonna be good for us. David brought up he's been injured twice. So, that's something I gotta look into is see what type of injuries we talking about. And hopefully it's not like the same knee or something like that. But as for the Micah from Florida, 7'1", I like him. Now I would like him and Lubin at the same time, but if I had to pick one or the other, I'm going with who I know, which is Lubin. I would like to see Lubin in a situation where the coach knows what the heck he's doing and is all in on trying to make sure he's successful. So, I get where you're at with this stuff. There's this guy from Florida is a project. He'll be in college 4 years. He been in college 4 years already, developed as much at all. Oh, okay. So he's been in college 4 years already and hasn't developed much at all. Is what David is saying. So he's saying, it is what it is with this guy. We're not really going to see him get much better. And I get it. We're talking a senior that still was just like a role player, limited in what he can do. But he is big. David, he is big. And he can jump a little bit for his height. So I hear you. Eddie Thomas says, Lubin is our guy. Lubin adds a solid leadership and culture piece too. If he says no, then take the Florida guy. Eddie, this is a good point here that we haven't brought up yet. So the leadership part is big. Y'all already know. I'm out here like, I don't know who our leader is going to be, right? Who is going to be that guy that is like, when coach has done the chewing that he can do, and it doesn't seem like it's getting through, this guy takes over. They say it's Paul. I just can't see Paul getting in somebody's face because they miss a defensive assignment or they walking back on defense or, just holding people accountable. I see him doing the cheerleader stuff, clapping, work harder. Yeah, the drills and stuff like that. But that gritty stuff where one of your teammates probably don't like you in a minute, I don't know. So Lubin, I feel like, could do that. I feel like he would command that type of respect from these guys, and he would get it. So you are right there. That is a big piece. Bringing in the Florida guy, he's not doing that. Like, you're not going to come in here and just think, oh, you about to be the leader just because you're the oldest guy. Yeah, that's not happening. So he's not going to give us that. That is a good point there. Clyde Gaddis, how you doing, man? Are you going to talk about football? So look, my channel is strictly about basketball because it's what I know best. Now I do follow NC State football very closely. If I were to talk about football, it's not going to be any type of game breakdown or any of that. It's really going to be very high level, and it'd be more about you all giving your 2 cents about the game. And we could come on here on lives and just chat about each football game. You're not going to get breakdowns of who I think is going to actually win and matchups and strengths and weaknesses and that type thing, because I don't know that in and out. Like, I know the sport, but I would not. I could see myself telling you something about a particular player, and you'll tell me why they weren't successful because of a certain defense being ran, and I can't negate any of that because I'm just not sure. So to answer your question, Clyde, it's possible. I'll put a little survey out. We'll see if enough of y'all want to, talk that once the season gets going here. That's about it. David says, "Guy from Florida sucks." Come on, David. He think he sucks? Yikes. Eddie Thomas says, "I don't think Lubin respected the way the snake left us and the team." I agree. James Johnson, "I want the height." Okay. See, Gary, he ain't that tight, but I think it's about the money. Plus, the snake team needs him more. Some of the Snakes players have eligibility issues. Glad the snake sets LSU because we'd. Hold on, you must have got cut off. Cause we be going through that crap with us. So look, it's so much to this. Like, I know if it was about the money, cool, but if he gets the money, he could potentially go there and still have issues. Like, his team, he don't even know what his team gonna look like. Do you want to? He could go spend his last year there being trash, right? Think about that. That's not going to help his professional career. Like, I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, let me adjust here, guys. Sorry. I'm off center. But, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Wade is going to be able to pull that off. I'm hoping not. I'd much rather see if it's about the money. I'm hoping somebody else is willing to pay him. That's pretty much where I'm at. Let somebody else pay him. All right, David Johnson says, "Guy from Florida turned state down when Keats was here." Yeah, and I get that. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I get that. Bob Fun says, "Jamil is Isaiah Miranda with actual skills." Ooh, Lord, that's a name we ain't really mentioned in a while. I don't even know if he even panned out to be anything. Isaiah Miranda with actual skills. That might be a stretch, Bob, but let's hope that you're right. Okay. Joshua Simpson, is it possible to land them both? Or are we down to one spot? Or do we have the money for it? I don't think it's going to be realistic to get both, unless the guy from Florida is coming at a huge discount. I do think Lubin is going to demand more, um, and that's probably going to be all we're going to be able to scrape up. But if we got both, man, that Pat, I'm gonna say something crazy here for a second. Wouldn't be the first time. If we landed both of these guys and they were able to actually play, I wouldn't even be really scared of Duke this year. Like, I'm not scared of them now, but I'd be like, listen, we played them on a neutral court. They might be able to get it. I know that's a stretch, but that's how I feel. It's highly unlikely. Again, Joshua, did we get both? It's one or the other, just to be clear. Joshua also says Lubin would be huge on the leadership aspect. Absolutely. That's the big thing there. 6'5" in Florida says, I'm greedy. 2 scholarships or both. I know. You are greedy, and I would love to be greedy as well, but I'm not gonna let myself get let down like that so early. And the season ain't even started yet. I'm gonna be realistic here. I'll take one. Maybe we get another big that's just a rotation piece job just in case. But it sounds like to me this Micah dude is expecting to play, if not starter minutes, backup 6-man type minutes. So that's going to be expensive. We know that. We shall see. Let's see. Bob Fun says, I personally like Micah a tiny bit more than Lubin because he offers some things that really fit. Great rebounding, shot blocking, passing for a big, good with pick and roll, rim runner with more length. So Bob, let's talk about this. You say Micah, you like him a tiny bit more than Lubin. Lubin can rebound for you, especially if you got him out there with another big. He's not a huge shot blocker, but he can play decent interior defense. Um, I don't know about Micah being a great passer. I mean, I seen him throw a couple of lobs on his little highlights. I got to go check that part. We know Lubin's phenomenal pick and roll. To be undersized, he's kind of elite at being a rim runner, pick and roll type thing. Way more athletic than people are giving him credit for. I'm talking about Van Allen. Like, he is, for him to be however tall he is, his height's all over the place, whether it's 6'8", 6'9", 6'7", whatever. He will dunk on you. And he will roll to the rim and get it done really quickly. So I have no problem with that. But if you prefer, Micah, okay. Clyde, who's your college basketball Final Four pick? I don't have one yet. Whenever the season starts, I'll give you that. There's too many moving parts right now. David Johnson says, Wilfredo Wade has 4 eligible players at the moment. Right. If you add Lubin, now you got 5. I don't see why Lubin want to go to a team that's going to be raggedy like that. But whatever. And then every dude he get is going to be thinking, oh, this is my last shot. The chemistry is going to be terrible on that team. Absolutely terrible. James Johnson said the Florida guy would just be a backup, providing us some minutes. We'd finally, after so many years of actually having some quality height instead of all these small centers. Yeah, I got what you're saying. The Florida guy would just be as a backup, providing us some minutes. we'd finally, after so many years, actually have some quality height instead of these small centers. Yeah, we would, but I don't know. Maybe it's me, guys, but like if I've played 4 years of college basketball and I'm not really going to a team to like prepare myself for the NBA or anything like that, why go to a team to be on the bench? If I'm getting this extra year, I'm going either I'm chasing the money or I'm starting. Right? I'm not going somewhere where the coach is like, yeah, you're gonna play maybe. So this part, concerns me. I don't know, James. If that's what we selling him, I know he's not coming. Clyde Gaddis says Duke basketball is too powerful. Yeah, I hear you. Like I said, I gave you a disclaimer before I said it was gonna be something crazy. Um, yeah. So we don't even have to talk about that too much more. David John says we get Lubin, we're a fringe top 25 roster, Roger Layton or not. So David, you think even with Lubin is fringe top 25? I mean, what I'm wondering is what has to happen for you to feel like our pack is a legitimate top 25 team, not on the fringe, maybe even top 20. Like, what type of player will we have to add? What has to happen for you to be like, oh yeah, we're in the top 25 hands down? Because adding Lubin, I'm like, what else do you really need? I don't. I'm not sure. Um, I mean, I know we need some guys to improve, right? We need Paul to be a super upgrade of himself from last year and add a lot to his game. And we need Ed Mead to be everything as advertised. And obviously we need Evans to come over and still be an elite shot blocker in, the ACC and this level of competition in college basketball. But Fringe just has me like, man, really? What else you want from us? Let's talk about that. Christopher Burke says we are not top 25 with Lubin. Too many questions. Capable, yes, but not off the bat. All right. So y'all, okay. So off the bat, where are we at? Christopher, let me know. If we add Lubin, where do you put us at? If we're not a top 25, I mean the season's starting. Where you guys stayed at with Lubin? Clyde says NC State cannot beat Duke in basketball this year. Could Duke? I guess that's calls Duke. Got like 12 or 14 players scored in double figures. Um, okay. Clyde, first off, you sound like a Duke fan, which is okay. I would tell you that there's been a lot of years where Duke was way better than NC State. I mean, it wasn't even close. And they have got their butts whooped, especially in our arena. So the fact they're not coming to Raleigh, I would agree. But there's times when they come to Raleigh and they just are shell shocked. Them kids come in here and they don't know what to do. So I don't know. Let's see. David says it's too deep at every position. I get it. That's with Lubin, I'm assuming is what you're talking about. Christopher Burke says off the bat with Lubin, maybe 35, 40. Way too many unknowns. I feel like we're already at 35, 40 with all these unknowns. So you still so we're I mean, with if we don't get Lubin where you got us at, you sound like you got us missing the tournament. David says top 25 with Lubin. Okay. I agree. Here we go. James Johnson says, hopefully no chemistry issues if we add Lubin. He's going to cut somebody's playing time. Not sure which big, but I would say Mikey. I think maybe realistically 7 through 10 spot. So, James, I've said this before, and I know you all are aware. It's not going to be Mikey. If he's taking somebody minutes, that's not who it's going to be. I'm telling you that right now. Now, if you put him in there, it might be y'all's guy Jurkovic. It might be him. He could lose some minutes. But it's not going to be Mikey. You can write that one down and bring that back up later. It's not going to be Mikey. Eddie Thomas says, with Lubin, I think we're definitely in the top 25 conversation. That sounds kind of fringish. That sounds like David saying on the fringe top 25 with Lubin. So again, without him, where we at, Pac? Sounds like y'all really not. We're gonna be in for it because let's break it down. Let's bring down the top 25. Let's say with Lubin, where we finish in the ACC? Where you got us at? Let's not even worry about the top 25. You add Lubin, where do we finish in the ACC? James Johnson says, if Justin gets our team to defend, I think we can be really good. The defense is definitely going to be huge. If he can't get them to defend, we're really in trouble because they're spending a lot of time on that. Think about this whole offseason. They spent majority of their time on defense, right? So if he can't get them to defend at a high level, we in trouble. Forget being really good. We're going to be in trouble. We have to do that well. That's the one thing we got to do well, because no matter how highly touted you are or what conference you're coming from, what you did last year, as long as you're playing defense, give yourself a shot. So let's see. Clyde says, yeah, but you're talking about the past now. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the past. I'm leaving it alone, Clyde. I'm leaving it alone. Chris Roberts said, man, not going to lie. I want to be wrong. I got to hope they overachieve. I'm sure you touched on Florida guy. Who would you rather have, him or Lubin? So, Chris, I did touch in. So welcome to the live. It seems like you're just getting in here. I picked Lubin. And I picked Lubin because of I know what he brings to the table. And Eddie pointed out the leadership part, right? Hadn't mentioned that yet, but I'm nervous about our leadership. I know Gainey has said Paul is stepping up, but I feel a whole lot better if Lubin was in there. A whole lot better. The Micah dude, like I said, it's like a shiny thing to me. I'm sort of scarred from Will Wade with shiny stuff, right? It's like, ooh, we want him. Just I get you 7 foot, and we ain't had one in a while. 7'1", and we ain't had one in a while, and he can catch some lobs and pick and roll, lob threat, catch it off the rim. But Lubin does all of that at a decent level, even though he's undersized. And I really want to see him on the court with another big. Like I feel like at Carolina, he played the wrong position. For us, he played the wrong position. Like if you put this man at the 4 and let him play with another big, I think he'll get way more rebounds. I think he'd be very formidable as post up offense. Because I don't like right now who we throwing the ball to in the post. I know EY's supposed to be decent with his back to the basket, but other than that, we don't really have a post threat. Mikey's gonna be pretty decent, but he's young. Like Lubin gives us an inside out game that we don't currently have. The Micah dude, every highlight I'm seeing, the ball, he isn't really backing anybody down. It's tip dunks, lobs. That's pretty much it. Like, so he could have that in his game. I just don't trust it. Joshua Smith says the only reason I don't put us top 25 begin the season is the amount of players we have from smaller conferences. I understand. How would they adjust the ACC play? If they adjust well, they could be top 15. Okay. So look, I'm looking for how y'all think we're going to finish in the ACC. Nobody has told me yet where you think State will finish in the ACC if we added Lubin, right? Because right now you all saying if we added Lubin, we fringe top 25. Like no one is like, oh, we're really, really in there. We got Joshua saying if our guys from smaller conferences actually step up and adjust to ACC play, we could be top 15. But realistically, not needing the perfect scenario, where do y'all think we're going to be at? Tell me that. Bob says, watch Micah's passing the highlights. He can see the floor. All right, I'll check him out. I think, I saw him throw a couple of lobs. So big to big passing, that's cool. But look, don't ask David because David said he's trash. Micah plays above the rim. He does play above the rim. This class says some people got NC State finished 12th. Who? Some people who? 12th? Have I seen that? 12th? No, I did see that. I think I saw oh man, I did see that. I'm forgetting who was talking about they picked us 12th. But yeah. Was that Roth? Was that Roth? Yeah, that was John that did that. I believe I actually shared that on X. Like that was crazy work. We're not stepping what he's talking about. That's just ridiculous. David says, oh, 5th with Lubin. I got you. Okay. So we still can't get top 4 when we add Lubin. All right. James says that's why the 7'1" guy, along with our 6'10" transfer, would give us a tremendous defensive team. That'd be icing on the cake. So look, James, it sounds like you're trying to play Evans and Micah at the same time. All right. I mean, that would be, of course, that would be nice. I don't know how likely that is, but I hear you. All right. Eddie Thomas says top 5 or 6 in the ACC with Lubin. The pollsters love their SEC Big Ten teams from most of the top 25 spots. I got you. So right now, we're in 5th with Lubin. Christopher Burke says 6th or 7th with Lubin. Man. David Johnson says Florida kid, too much of a project, Gary. If he wasn't, Florida would want him back. Do we know Florida doesn't want him back? I mean, man, this is like, it was so late that they let everybody know. Maybe Florida's like, look, we already got somebody to replace you or with somebody sitting behind you, you never know. Joshua says State ain't finishing 12th, maybe 6th. Yeah, they're not finishing 12th. I know that's just blasphemy. Like, we're not even studying what that is at all. James Johnson says, look at UVA team last year. They were in the same position as we were this year with all of those players from smaller schools. We get the chemistry, we'll be fine. Hope you're right. The difference with UVA is they had like crazy shot blocking, right? I think we got the shot making that they had, but the defense inside, that one guy, I forget what his name is. I think he ended up going to the NBA. He was throwing everything, and he came off the bench. He didn't even start. Like, yeah, I don't know that we have those level of players. So I'm hoping something pans out with the shot blocking, but man, yeah, that was a game changer. Here we go. Kevin Johnson says with Lubin, third in the ACC. Let's go, Kevin. It's a very bold statement. I don't know that I'm all with you on that, but I like that you came out and switched it up because this 5th and 6th with Lubin was like, hey, I'm thinking 4. 3 is possible, but I think 4 is realistic. But this third, I mean, that puts you behind Duke and who's just in Virginia? We picking Louisville? Who we picking second? In this scenario, Kevin, let me know. Yeah, David said Rothstein picked his 12th. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then David says 5th would mean you're top 25 in the ACC. Would it? Because they like this to completely disrespect the ACC. Like, y'all know last year, the daggone ACC SEC challenge was pretty much a tie. Like, we were very, very even with them, and they still want to put more of their teams in the conference, acting like their conference is better than ours. That is very, very aggravating. It's like, why even have the challenge when you're not paying attention to the results? It's crazy. Uncle Gary, hello. Yeah, this whole the way they disrespect us in the actual challenge is just laughable. Completely laughable. So Joshua says UVA has huge size advantage on us last year. Yeah, they really whooped up on us twice. Played them a little closer the third time. Look, the third time we played like we really cared. They had me fooled. I was like, oh, the boys about to go into the NCAA ready to hoop. And we know how that turned out. Texas just beat us again, which we shouldn't have lost to them, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, back to what we're talking about here with these two guys. I want Lubin. I want to be very, very clear. If I have to choose, I choose Lubin. Now I know y'all like, look, you want the height, and I get it because we haven't had the height in forever. But just think about what Lubin brings to the table. And he's going to be an ambassador for NC State going forward. Like, if he gets 2 years here, it's the only school he spent 2 years at. The only one. So that would be big. But we shall see. Again, I think it says a lot about him if he chooses LSU. Just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? As I don't know. Of all people, I'm gonna be honest. I would have saw Darian Williams following him to LSU of any of them. I don't know. I feel like his vibe was like, yeah, he'll just go where the money's at. I can't see Lubin doing us like that. And Joshua says, I blame Will Wade for Texas loss. Look, blame Will Wade for a lot of those losses, right? I mean, let's just be honest. Yeah, he was silly there. Let's see what else I'm gonna cover with y'all here. We got a little bit more time here. If y'all have something y'all want to discuss, you can put it in the chat. We will talk about it. Um, let me see. Kevin Johnson says we owe Louisville and Virginia some beatdowns after the way they did us last year. That's why I say third in the ACC. Yeah, we really owe Louisville. Like, whew, man. So look, y'all remember when we got demolished at Carolina with Dennis Smith Jr. and he just disappeared in that game, was just a hot mess. It reminded me of that, right? Like I couldn't believe what I was looking at. How you have a team go to Cameron, beat them at their house, and then that same team get beat by dang near 50. It was 50 by 50 in Chapel Hill. Yeah, I don't know, but that Louisville game was, yeah, it was definitely kind of deja vu like what are we doing? All because he want to dare a guy that's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft to shoot threes just because he hadn't been shooting well. Boy, this fool, I swear. David Johnson says Lubin is a big, strong 6'9", 225-pound project with experience. You can't replace that. David, how are you calling Lubin a project, man? What are we doing? What are we doing? Project? Oh, Lord. You did that on purpose. I know you did. You put project in that statement on purpose because you knew I was going to read it and have that reaction. Joshua Smith says, are we going to beat UVA in football? We had a tough time last year, but lucked up at the end. I think we beat them. And I don't, you can't lose that first game. Like for us, with this type of schedule is probably one of the easier schedules that we've had. And we know if Dave Dorn can actually win these first few games before he get that bye week, and then have to finish the season, on a strong note, which we know he's pretty good at doing, man, we'll be good to go. We gotta win that first one. Like CJ can't come back talking about the game is slowed down for him or it's slow and lose to Virginia. I just feel like that's the game you can't give up. Maybe Louisville because they're supposed to be nice, but not Virginia. Christopher Brett said Lubin is far from a project. I agree. Doug Davis, stop messing with us, man. I don't know why he even said that. Yeah, David. Yeah, just don't do that. You call him a project is just very disrespectful. Okay. Very disrespectful. Let's see. Oh man, here we go, James. James Johnson says, sorry, Gary, but Lubin is a project. Some of his skills are limited. And he was not that highly recruited coming out of high school. He is a decent college basketball player now, but was a project. So listen, I don't have a problem with your last sentence. Was a project. But for you to come out and say is a project, I feel like you could graduate out of being a project, right? You develop out of being a project. So it's not just because you came in one, you leave a project. We talking about this guy, he may have limitations, but a lot of players have limitations that aren't projects, right? If you're 7 foot and you can't dribble and bring the ball up the court, we're not gonna call you a project because you can't dribble. You're limited with your ball handling. If you're able to rebound at a high level, you're able to score with your back to the basket. You use your either hand to score with. Like you're not gonna be a project. If you're averaging 20 points a game, you're not a project. So I'm not buying this with y'all on trying to call Lubin a project. I let a lot of these project statements ride. This one, I'm not having it. Y'all gonna be by yourself on this one. File says we had Lubin, we were friends top 25. We had Micah. We are definite top 20. Oh Lord, it's late. Y'all, I could tell it's late, and now y'all just saying whatever. Bob, you're gonna go from Lubin makes us fringe top 25 to Micah top 20, a whole 5 or more spots for a guy who didn't even start for his own team last year. Like, oh my gosh. Oh man, y'all cutting up right now. I appreciate it, but y'all cutting up right now. Let me see. Let me see. Well, said David calls everybody a project. Listen, this is a fact. If you're new to the chat, David's gonna call a guy a project. If he's not a McDonald's All American, 5 stars, uh, first team All ACC as a freshman, first team All American freshman, he's a project. So, yeah, this is a fact. David says, I like Lubin Gary, but he's always been a bit of a project. Kevin says, Lubin was out working last year. Without him, we're NIT bound. So Lubin was our worker last year. I'm guessing what you're trying to say. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, even with him, we was almost NIT bound. So Chris Roberts says Stevie Wonder knows Lubin isn't a project. James, come on, man. If you're a project, other schools wouldn't be going after him. That's funny. All right. So James says being a project doesn't mean they can't become good players. Projects do develop for the good or bad. I love Allen Lubin. Okay. Chris Roberts said, Gary, we may need to drug test some of these viewers, buddy. Hey, listen, they're not on drugs. It's just late. It's 9:30. For some people, it's past their bedtime. They get a little groggy or whatever whenever it's late and they're about to fall asleep. And so they're just saying wild stuff right now. And they're getting a reaction, which is fine. It is okay. Christopher Gray says, how can someone as efficient as Lubin be a project? I agree with you, Christopher. Listen, I'm not even diving into what this man has done production wise on this court. Like, it's not worth me doing that because they know Lubin is not a project. Now, a more accurate statement was he was a project when he got into college. Cool. But as for a guy we're getting to come back for a 5th year, no chance. Not a project at all. He didn't even got in his name. Like, he is solidified. He's going to start for any team he goes to. Any team, not just ours. Eddie Thomas says Lubin may be an NBA project, but not a college basketball project. He's done the work and proven it on the court. Yeah, yeah. I guess if you throw that word and you throw some different words in front of it, it changes it. But yeah. James Johnson said, if you saw him in that Miami game last year, you would say he's a project. He's self-destructive playing hot potato with the basketball. What? In the Miami game? Oh, are we talking about at the end of the game? Like with the inbound stuff? Because I'm like, I think he played okay in that game, but I think you're referring to the end of the game where he's like turning the ball over. Yeah, you're wrong for that. I don't know what that whole debacle at the end of the game was about. I don't even know why he was back there, to be honest. David Johnson also said, we're not highly recruited. You're a project, Gary. Hey, David, we've covered this. I get you say he was a project coming into college, but you got to put some respect on this guy's name at this point of his career. He is no longer a project. You can't tell me you believe that this guy is still a project, no matter what his current limitations are as a basketball player. He does a lot of things at a very high level that no project is doing. Ken says, with new big commitments, do you think Gainey is building the roster around a specific style of play, or is he simply taking the best available talent? This is a great question. It's a very mature question. So, with what Gainey is doing, I think he's working on a specific style of play. To answer your question, um, he's not going to take the best talent because he want to make sure he gets guys that fits NC State and the program and what he's trying to do. So he's not just going to go get guys just because they're highly ranked. We're seeing him go after what fits the way he wants to play, the type of team he wants, the size that he wants. That's what's happening. Good question. Joshua Smith says Miami game was awful. We gave that one away. Absolutely. All right, let's see. All right, Caitlin Vane says, "Hey Gary, if you had to choose right now, would you rather have Lubin back, use that scholarship roster spot on another high level guard? Lubin, that's easy. Let's see. David Johnson says, I like Lubin, give you an honest assessment, Gary. I understand. Christopher Gray says, can you just imagine Lubin at the four? He's always had to play the five. Yep. I said that earlier. You are right. I mean, that should just make any state fan drool. Playing the five for him is tough, but he showed what he could do there. Exactly. Like, I want to see him at the four. The same way I want to see Darian Williams play the three. The same way I don't want to see Paul McNeil at the three and at the two. Like, yeah. we we shall see. I want to see him with the coach that will actually try to utilize his strength and complement him with another big player because he's been, I don't remember who they had playing the four at Carolina, but I feel like they were small because Lubin was playing the five for them. Um, I don't remember who that guy was, but yeah. And then he came to us, of course, and same old pattern. And what's he do? Excel. Oh man, James Johnson says the end of the game. Let's see. You could see he was scared. Plus, that was Snake's fault. Yeah, Snake was already in Baton Rouge. Yep, like the OJ's. His body's here in town, and most on the other side, I believe you had a continuation. Oh yeah, continuation the other side of town. Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have been in the backcourt for that Miami game. So it's wild. Golden Arc is here. My man, what would have to happen for you to say, okay, Gainey has officially changed the trajectory of NC State basketball? He's got to land a 5-star McDonald's All American. And he's got to do it pretty soon. Like, I'm not going to lie. If y'all go back and y'all look at Mark Godfrey and his recruiting, man, that guy was cooking. We were getting McDonald's All Americans every single year. I mean, really look at it. The level of talent that we got during his years is crazy. We were, it was, I can't think of a time we were getting that level of talent in like the last, shall I say, in the 2000s. Like it had to be before then, right? In the 80s and 90s or whatever, early 90s. But when Mark Godfrey was here, we were cooking. I need just a game to cook. You want to recruit the state of North Carolina, and it's full of 5-star talent this year. I mean, full of it. This is probably the best the state's been in a decade. It's loaded. Are we going to get any of them? CJ Rosser left his school in North Carolina to go play wherever. Jordan Page left to go play wherever. Are we going to bring these guys back? Are we going to bring anybody back? That's what's going to have to happen for me to feel this way. James said he's got a 5-star in Darius Adams. I mean, he does, but I need it out of high school. I need us to be the first pick, right? Not off the transfer where you really weren't that successful. Because the 5-stars I'm talking about are one and dones. Not the guy that goes to college and then he didn't pan out to be as great as everybody thought. So he has to come back. Yeah, that's cool. I'll take those if he can make them better. But I'm talking about the one and done level player. We start getting one and dones, that's when I'll be like, uh-oh, we in the mix now. Christopher Gray said, bring Sid back to recruit and let Gainey coach. Yeah, sitting low. If he comes back, I don't even need him on the bench. He could just he can sit behind the bench like he does in the NBA. Like don't be sitting on the bench with the players. We don't need that. Joshua Smith says that team was Zoe, Howell, Wood, CJ, TJ, Rodney Purvis, Final 14. Those were the good old days. You had TJ Warren coming off the bench. Richard House, CJ Leslie, the sniper, Scott Light. Man, listen, we had that level of like talent all at one time in a long time. I need that back, honestly. Go to Art says, Gary, if Lubin comes back, what does that do to your expectations for Gainey in year one? And if he doesn't, what is the one position you think Gainey absolutely has to address next? Let's see. Good question. If Lubin comes back, my expectations for Gainey are Well, I already have the expectation he needs to make the tournament, mainly because it's expanded, right? I would have had the expectation if it hadn't expanded, but I would have understood if you potentially miss year one. Now it's expanded, you can't miss. Allen Lubin, I'm like, you got to win one game in the NCAA tournament, maybe even get to the Sweet 16. That's how I feel. Yeah, if you add him, you at least you got to make the Sweet 16. Now, what's one position I think Gainey absolutely has to address next if he doesn't get Lubin? But if he doesn't get Lubin, hopefully he gets the Micah kid from Florida. So that's still another big. But if he misses on both of them, then I don't necessarily think he needs to address anything else. I think our team is pretty good where it's at. Those two spots, you could probably just leave them because if you add whoever else he adds, somebody's not playing. Everybody's not going to play anyway. He might be able to go 9, but 9 deep as in playing 9 players, but the majority of these guys not going to get in the game anyway, so I wouldn't add anybody else. James Johnson says, facts are Justin has to win with projects right now until he builds our program to that level. Right. It's show me, right? And I get it. If I'm a kid and I'm like, look, my main thing is caring about winning, yep, you got to show me. If I'm a kid and my main thing is money, but you trying to tell me these other things, you have to show me. Because if you can't pay me as much as one of these blue bloods, why am I coming to your school? Right? So I definitely got to see what you're talking about. You got to show me something. I got to see somebody get better throughout the year. I got to see somebody go there that maybe wasn't even on the radar and still made it to the NBA. Like, I got to see you do something. If you're not going to be able to pay me as much as some of these other schools. Eddie Thomas says Gainey needs to sign some 5-star players and be able to retain them. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, Eddie. Thank you for bringing that up. Look, Gainey has sort of built this team around additional years of eligibility, right? He went and got guys. He didn't get build a bunch of seniors. He went and got guys that have multiple years left. That not only can he get them going this year and have a great year, but he's hoping that, boom, those guys can set his culture and the standard at NC State for the guys coming. If he can maintain his guys that play major minutes for him, that's going to be big. Pack, think about it. When you start getting guys returning, and they're going to take that next big step the following year. Think about a Kingston Whitty. Y'all brought him up to me. Whitty's going to be good if we can keep him. If we keep Kingston Whitty, he's going to be on an all-ACC team by the time he leaves NC State. Okay? That's the level of player he is. If you keep a guy like Christian Hammond, right, give him another year. Hopefully Paul is good enough this year that he goes to the NBA, because if not, we're not going to be that good for as much we put into him. So he has to be an NBA level player to not come back to school. But, you got somebody like Darius Adams, right? Let's assume that he does make a big jump, but he's not quite ready for the NBA. And you keep him, he's got to retain some of his team that he's putting all this time into. And if he can do that, he can really, really have some good building blocks. So that's the best way you're going to get these guys at a discount, right? Hometown discount. If they're not your own guys, you're going to probably end up overpaying for a lot of these kids because there's so many people in their ear and the agent is doing so much and yada, yada. So this would be the best thing for NC State is to keep what we were able to get. David John says, to be honest, Gary, I love coaches that win projects. I have to remember Eric Godfrey was NIL before NIL. He was ahead of the curve. Absolutely, he was ahead of the curve. And that's the thing. I'm like, look, okay, if you had us in, it was a lot of coaches ahead of the curve back then. He was not by himself, and he had us in the mix. So where are all those people that had us in the mix before? I need them back in the building. Whoever was sliding the checks, yada yada. Like, we need to be able to really get these players now, because they were coming before when we was paying them. Now we can pay them. We got to get this level of talent again, man. We got to get our weight up. All right, James Johnson says the best coaches win regardless of 5 stars or not. Duke should run all the time when you have a college all-star team. Coaches should win with projects or T coaches, in my opinion. Coaches should win with projects or T coaches, in my opinion. All right, so the best coaches win regardless of 5 stars or not. Duke should run all the time when you have a college all-star team. I'm guessing Duke should win all the time when you have a college all-star team. And it says coaches should win with projects are the coaches, in my opinion. I think I understand what you're trying to say. So the coaches that can win with projects are really good coaches, right? Those are the ones that are actually having to coach. Duke, really, you don't really have to be much of a coach because you got the best team. I think that's your point. Godfrey had one of his teams in the Final Four. That Kansas game got us. Yeah, that year was tough. I believe they who did Kansas have that year? It weren't the Twins. They had some big. I don't know who it was that beat us. It might have been Morris Twins, or was it somebody else? Do y'all remember who Kansas had whenever we lost to them in the tournament, back with C.J. Leslie and Richard Howell? All right, so James, that was what you were trying to say. Okay, that's good. So what do y'all think about, like, coach actually going after bigs so early? All right. I was talking to my father, and I mentioned it. I sent the commitment to him, and he's excited because he wants to build around bigs. And me, I'm like, look, I'd rather have a team of guys that are 6'7", 6'8" that can do everything. I love my point guard to be 6'8" in a perfect world, right? It's Penny Hardaway or team full of Grant Hill, Scottie Pippen, all those guys from back in the day. They were forwards, but they can handle the ball, or that type thing. I like that. He'd rather have a dominant big and then guards or a dime a dozen. Let him tell. What do y'all think about Gainey going after bigs? Now, I know he's offered some guards that are, still in high school, but we've got guards. If he builds the relationships that he's talking about, then we should be good on our guard play for a while, right? So I think this is a smart move on his part. David Johnson said, we're opposite, Gary. Now it's legal to play players. We don't have any money to pay them. Ain't that ridiculous? It's a trip. James Johnson, Kansas had the Thomas kid that year. Thomas Robinson. I don't remember him. Jeff with Kansas, Thomas Robinson. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look that up. I don't remember Thomas Robinson. And then A. Thompson, don't think God had a Final Four team with us. Did I missed something? No, he didn't. I think he was saying, I a team that could have made the Final Four, a Final Four level team. Because we had a pretty good squad that year, but not he did not make a Final Four. He made the Sweet 16, I believe. That was it. So David is saying continuation. Jeff with the and Thomas Robinson for Kansas beat State. Really? If y'all can go back and find that, like I don't know why I thought it was somebody else. Let me just look at that really quickly. Y'all find it if you can. Let's see. $2012. Yeah, Sweet 16. T. Robinson. That is who the heck is that? Thomas Robinson. I do not remember him. He did get bit. He averaged but 4 points. That's not who I was thinking about. I'm like, he might have got busy on us, but that wasn't. I believe that was their best player that year. Jeff Withy, Tyshawn Taylor, Thomas Robinson. I guess it was. Man, what game was I watching? Because I do not remember that guy at all. And we lost by 3. Okay. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, Pat, we need to get back to that recruiting. Like, that memory popped up for me recently where they showed the game and you had Rodney Purvis off the bench and Tyler Lewis coming off the bench, which I didn't think he was really that good, but still, they had somehow made him a McDonald's All American along with Rodney and TJ Warren, which is crazy. Yeah, we got to get back to that, Pack. I'm hoping Gainey does go. Like, just Jamil Robinson kid doesn't get me super excited, but I like that we're not waiting until dang year to the end of the year to get a commitment for the following year. So that's good. Maybe it helps them build around them. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. He say he wants to kill. He has the kill everyone mindset. So we're gonna see what happens with this Robinson kid. All right, Pack. Let's see. A point guard made a horrible turnover that game. We could have beaten Kansas. Talking about Lorenzo? Um, Or are you talking about Alex Johnson? Because he played a lot too. But let's see. Lorenzo, he only had 2 turnovers. Richard Howard had 5 of them. Yeah. Oh, well, the good old days. All right, Pack. I'm going to get off of here. I appreciate y'all, as always, chiming in. If you haven't already, go ahead, check out the Den, see which level works for you. It's going to be a lot of interviews in there, breakdowns of, games, any scoop that I hear that I can put out. I am going to make sure that all of the Den members get, all the content first. I'm gonna start doing lives just exclusively for Den members. Make sure y'all, get priority because I do appreciate you. And as always, Pack Nation, please like, subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching, you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Share it with your Wolfpack family. All right, everybody should be on here talking their stuff, giving their opinion. We want to hear what you think and where, how you feel about the pack going into games, going into the season. Want to hear all that. Until next time, Pack Nation, go Pack.